Hello, bookworms, bibliophiles, and lovers of all things literature. Welcome to the next chapter of the Braless Book Guild podcast, where we discard our bras and get fully booked to talk about books both published and unpublished. We are your hosts, Jenna.
Hi, guys.
Marissa.
Hello.
And I'm Megan. And we have a special guest today. We have another Megan. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Braless Book Guild. You are our first not in-person guest, minus Haley.
I feel so honored.
Yeah. Before we get started, I always forget when I get excited. Before we get started, let's talk about what we're drinking. Jenna, what are you drinking?
So Marissa and I went to North Carolina.
Well, we went to the Carolinas.
We went to the Carolinas. We went to North Carolina to visit our mom, and then we drove all over South Carolina.
Yes.
And in Greenville, we found this little tea shop, which, for the record, if I hadn't sent someone to meet me there, I never would have gone in because it didn't look like a tea shop from the outside. It was more like a flea market, but it has like books and loose leaf tea, and so I thought we had to get some loose leaf tea. Obviously. So I got, Marissa and I each picked one out. I got, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but I think it's Eid from The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is the book that you guys have been telling me to read for forever. And I have not read. So I got the one that's based off the one book that I haven't read.
Megan, have you read Priory of the Orange Tree?
I did. I loved it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I have to read it. But in all fairness, it was the one that like seemed the craziest to me of all the teas. Like I've never drank anything like it. It's an Irish breakfast with orange peel, rosemary, jasmine, and rose hips. And it's from Petals Tea Shop out there. And I will definitely be getting more of this. It was really good.
I had a sip. I had 2 sips. Sorry, Jenna.
Oh,
It was
how
so good.
dare you? 2 sips. Marissa, what are you and Megan drinking?
So me and Megan number one, because there's 2 of us, 2 of them now. Braless Book Guild, Megan, are drinking the book club tea from Petals Tea Shop, which says Berry Blast Black Tea, and I think that's accurate. It's a black tea, Kenyan black tea with blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, cherries, black currants, and natural flavors.
Yeah, it's also very good. Very similar to Mr. Darcy,
Yes.
a tea we've talked about. And what about you, Megan? What are you drinking?
I feel like I have the most boring tea ever now. I just have English breakfast tea.
Oh, that's what I
When I
always
put-
drink.
That's
What?
With
Marissa's
some like
favorite.
hazelnut creamer in it, and I'm good to go.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
see, that's after my own heart. That's what I'm always doing. Is like, yeah, I'm just drinking a breakfast tea. It's fine.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. A good genuine black tea is always like a staple to have in the house.
Yeah.
You don't have
That's
to go too flavorful.
Actually,
Yeah.
why I got mine was because I don't have an English or Irish breakfast. And I was like, oh, it's an Irish or English breakfast, so Marissa will like it if I don't like it. But then I've never drank a black tea with like rosemary and jasmine in it, so I was really curious.
All right, so let's get to the exciting part. Not that tea is not exciting. Let's just get to the fun part.
So, kind of to start us, before we get to know, we kind of want to know about you. Like, what's your favorite books that you've read, and what are like the favorite tropes that you have in those type of books, so that we can kind of get a feel for, I don't know, what you like.
I do read a lot of variety, but my favorite is fantasy and romance. Romantasy is like, I'm like deep into the romantasy right now.
Me too.
So been loving that. Favorite tropes, I like enemies to lovers and grumpy sunshine.
Oh,
I will
that's
never
me.
say no to either of those.
Yeah.
And some of my favorite books, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue
Yes.
is like one of my very top books of all time. I'll read anything Taylor Jenkins Reid puts out, like anything, and I'll
Yeah.
love it. Atmosphere will be my favorite book of the year for sure.
Definitely.
And kind of just a sucker for a classic romantasy like Fourth Wing. I will eat it
Same.
up every time.
Same. I'm the one that will reread the romanticises. Like, I'll be like,
Yes.
oh, I read it once, and then, I just needed something that was comforting and that I could maybe, like, not be too bad if I'm too distracted. So I'll be like, I read it again, and I really liked it, guys. I liked it again the second time. And they're like,
Yeah,
Jenna, you
I'm
have an
the
entire
same.
list you have to get through.
Especially because this year you did the graphic audios of Fourth Wing, right?
Oh my gosh, I literally just met up with a friend the other day, and she's recently got into reading, and so she was like, she likes romance. She started with romance and then got into romantasy, and we're talking about things, and I was like, she has a son who's close to my son's age, and I was like, have you ever done audiobooks? And she's like, I just can't get into it, and I was like, well, let me talk to you about graphic audio. And so yeah, I definitely, like, that changed my whole perspective on audiobooks, because we've talked about that many times on the podcast, but yeah, I love it because I can reread and re-listen to the same books without feeling like I'm just sitting and rereading the same book too.
Yeah.
Gives a different perspective on it.
I do think the graphic audio, because I did physical copy of Fourth Wing and then graphic audio of Iron Flame, and I thought the graphic audio was just leagues above what I was expecting. It was a movie
Yeah.
without seeing it.
Yeah, definitely.
I've never
Yeah, I
done
was
them, but
telling
now
her-
I want to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I was telling my friend, because she had read, I don't remember which book she had read, but it like started her into it. And she goes, I haven't read any of the big book talk ones. I haven't read ACOTAR. I haven't read Fourth Wing. She goes, I own them all. I just haven't started them. And I was like, well, I was like, I have read ACOTAR. I have listened to the regular audiobook of ACOTAR, and I have listened to the graphic audio of ACOTAR. So all of
Trifecta.
them. I've done all of it for that one. And I was like, listen to the graphic audio. I was like, because that'll get you into it. And if you want, you can sit down and actually read it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's hop into more about you. So, can you tell us about the story behind your shop, Little Inklings Design, and what inspired you to start it?
Sure. So a long time ago, like 10 years probably, I was working a desk job at an accounting firm and was so bored. And it just like wasn't fulfilling at all, but it was just like a job at the time. And as someone who's like always been a pretty creative person, I found myself kind of just like doodling or like just, trying to like fill my empty time with something creative because I just needed that. And then I started just like turning those I just kind of was like playing around, turning the doodles into like greeting cards or prints. And at first I just did it for like family as like a gift, or just like if I was going to a wedding, I would like hand do the card because I wanted it to be personal. And then started like toying around with the idea of like selling them, because anytime I would like give them to someone would be like, you need to sell these are so good. And then started like doing that, and it wasn't anything bookish, it was just like regular stuff, and I liked it, but I didn't feel like, I don't know, fulfilled by it or like passionate about it. I had the creativity, but it was like missing something. And then once I like kind of got more back into reading, like fully, like my whole life kind of became about
Yeah.
books again, then I kind of like started making my own like bookmarks just so I could use them in my books. And then I started an Instagram and started sharing that. And then people asked about where they could get them. So then I started doing that. And at the time, it was just like hand painted bookmarks. Like it wasn't anything mass produced or anything. And then it kind of just grew from there. And then I really found like a passion for making things for readers, because a lot of the things I started making weren't like super popular at the time. Like now the bookish stuff has like exploded and you can find
yeah.
anything everywhere. But at the time it wasn't as popular, so it was just like something I felt like I wanted for myself, and then other people wanted it too.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember what was the very first product you created and sold, and do you still offer it today?
It's kind of like two-part, because when I wasn't bookish, it was just like greeting cards, I think was the first thing I did. I don't sell that anymore. But when I started doing bookish, it was bookmarks, was like how I got started. But like I said, I was like hand painting them. And I think the first one I did was for the Ember and the Ashes series.
Yes.
I
love
did like a gold one that said Always Victorious on it. And I think that's the first one I ever sold. I don't sell hand painted things anymore, but I do still sell bookmarks.
Yeah.
Although they look
Jenna's-
very different now than they used to.
Ember in the Ashes. That's where my son is Elias. So we got his
love it.
name from Ember in the Ashes. We love Ember in the Ashes.
I
Love
love
it.
that series so much.
Me too.
So good. You guys asked some questions too.
Yeah,
Don't leave it up to me.
We just like Megan talk.
Megan wrote down all the questions, so she has them there.
Megan is the
They're in our
organized one.
chat.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up in the phone.
It's just Megan and Megan chatting.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the Megan show.
Megan squared.
No, so what do you find that you you make that you enjoy spending the most time on? Like, what's your favorite thing?
So I make a reading planner, and it is like the biggest undertaking I've ever done for my shop. It takes like months to design this whole thing, but I think I'm like the most proud of it because when I made the first one, I think it must have been like 9 years ago or something like that. There didn't like reading planners didn't exist at that time.
Right.
Like there was none, which is why I made it because I wanted one like
Yeah.
for myself. And then I like posted it on my Instagram and everyone was like, "Where did you get this?" And I was like, "I made it." And they're like, "Can we buy it?" And I was like, "I guess." And then I like put them up on my at the time Etsy shop. I think I had put 15 up because I was like, nobody is gonna really want this. And then they sold out in like 10 seconds. And I was like,
geez.
oh, wow. Like, okay. So then I put pre-orders up and it got to like in the hundreds. And I was like, I had to turn it off because I was like, I need to be able to figure out how to do this. Like, and
Yeah.
then at my first reading planner ever, like I look back at it now and laugh because it's like so bad. But from where it's evolved, I'm really proud of like how far it's come and just like how we keep expanding it and I think making it better. So it's something that like means the most to me.
Yeah.
And it's what really started like Little Inklings as a reading business. Like we took off after that. So
That's actually how Megan started it with me. She was like, "Look at this planner I got." I was like, "Where did you get this?" And then I realized
love
I'm not
that.
organized enough for the planners, so I have the undated planners, which makes no
Yes.
sense in my life. I have like 3 months from when I first had my son, and then realized having a son and writing a planner is impossible. So then there's 3 more months, and like the random middle of him being like 1.5, and it's like, if someone looked at my planner, they'd be like, "This is not a consistent year." But yeah, I
but
love
that's
it.
exactly why I
honestly love
made the undated one. So I'm glad that it works like that.
Yeah, I am that person. I am the person that will forget about it and start it 2 years later in the same planner.
Yeah, I think I first came into the planner, I think 2020, but I came in like March because I think someone was posting about their planner in a Facebook group that I was in, a bookish group. So I said, oh my gosh, that is perfect because I would use planners and I used the passion planner and it just didn't work for me because I never found like any joy in it. I was bored and I tried to like do things with it to make it fun, but I just never could do it. So then when I saw that, I was just like, oh my gosh, I need it. And of course, because they're pre-orders, I couldn't get it until the 2021 year.
Yeah.
So the 2020 pre-order. So the 2021 year was my first year. And then of course I had to be like, oh my God, Jenna, look at this planner and tell everybody about it. So I have, and then Haley has it. Our friend Haley has it.
Yeah, you started 2021. I started 2022, and I did the dated planner at the time because
Yeah.
it didn't have the undated. And that was the year I was pregnant, and I was like, I'm gonna be so organized. And I was like, yeah, no, not happening. But I have some. It was funny because I was looking back at it when we were doing like setting this up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this was so much fun. And it's kind of things that I forgot about because I was pregnant and had pregnancy brain. I was like, I forgot I did this, which was cool.
And that's why I love my planners, especially because in the group that we're in, people are like, what do you guys do with your planners when you're done with them? Do you throw them away? And I was like, no.
Oh, I know. I always, whenever I get that question, I'm like, mine are like memory. Like I keep them as like almost like a yearly scrapbook or like I look back on mine all the time and the same where I'm just like, oh, I totally forgot about that. Or like it's nice to have like little memories of your
Yeah.
whole year going back to back. So
Right. I do
could
the
never
same
get rid of
thing. And
them.
I use mine as like a little journaling of what I did that day. So randomly I'll look up and be like, oh, let's pull out like 2022 and see what I did today in 2022. And then I'll look at them and, well, let's look at 2023 as well while we're here. So yeah, I always look back on mine. And then, of course, I have to read through every single day as I get them, pull them out because I'm just like, yeah, this is so fun. So I don't understand people who are, okay, I'm done. No, it's a scrapbook. It is a life's journey, if
And
you
I think
will.
it's helpful for me. I mean, I just started recently using Goodreads, but for me, like, sometimes I'd be like, man, what books did I read last year? Like, I can't even remember. And so it does help me think about, like, oh, I wrote them down. I remember now what I liked about them and what I didn't and when I was reading them. And now I'm actually starting to get better about, like, logging it on Goodreads. But, yeah, before I was not good at that. So,
Yeah, I'm someone who I have like a Goodreads or Storygraph is the one that I use, but I only leave the star rating. I don't ever put like a review because I don't have the time to like type something up.
yeah.
And so in my planner though, I'll jot down like a few things I thought about the book, but because I'm like constantly reading and switching books, then I'll like look back at a book I read last year and be like, I don't remember a single thing about
Yeah.
that book. I gave it 5 stars, but I could tell you nothing about it. So having the planner, I can look back and be like, oh, yeah, that's what I thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the
It's-
same way. I have a hard time doing it publicly and putting everyone's, like, all my thoughts into words publicly.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better now because we've done the podcast, so I feel like I have to. But yeah, I was the same way. I'd be like, oh, I liked this book, so I gave it a lot of reviews, but I don't remember what I thought about the book.
or the characters. Who
Yeah.
was even in it?
Yeah.
What was the plot of this book again?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, because you talked about how like it turned bookish because you started reading more.
Yeah.
How has like your passion for books evolved through over time?
So as a kid, I was like the bookworm, had my notes in a book ever since I could read. Like that's all my mom used to like threaten to take my books away as a
Oh, no.
punishment. Cause I would just like through dinner, I would sit on the chair and just like have my nose in the book and ignore everything. So as a kid, big reader. Through high school, I kind of lost it a little bit. And then a friend of mine got like really into Twilight. And she was like, you need to read this book. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. And then I also became obsessed, as everyone did at that time.
Yep.
And that kind of like, there was a little bit in that time frame, but not as much. Like, it was kind of just like the bigger hits. And then I think it was like, I don't know, like 2014, 2015. I don't even know what got me back into it. I think I was just like reminiscing of how much I used to like books and then kind of just got back into it. I found Bookstagram and that like really inspired me
Yeah.
to like pick up books again because I was like found this pocket of the internet where people were readers and like were recommending books and I was like, what is this place? I need to be in it. And
Yeah.
then yeah, from there I just like started reading again and got a bookshelf in my office and kind of went from there. Now I'm just like constantly reading something.
And I think that's such a like common occurrence, especially for readers these days. Like Jenna had just mentioned her friend just recently got back into reading. But
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I'm like the same parallel as you. In high school, I was still a pretty big reader, but I think college, I was just so busy, and then I moved abroad, and so everything it just kind of got away from me. And then I think it was 2016 for me because that was the year I got married. And then I discovered Owl Crate, the subscription
Oh,
book
yeah.
box, and I was like, Jenna, you're a reader too, right? And she was like, yeah. So that's how I was just like, you gotta get back into reading with me. You have no choice.
I don't even think, I go through like moments for me where it's like I fall off, but like it never even lasts a couple months. Like something will get me back into it. But I'm antisocial.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have a really hard time because if I get the chance between like reading a book or talking to people, I'm like 1000% gonna read a book.
Oh,
But-
I'm the exact same.
But I joke, I was like, why is it socially acceptable for people to be staring at their phones, but if I pull out a book, I'm rude? Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand. They can look at their phones in public, but I can't look at my book. But yeah, it's funny because I was thinking back and I was like listening. I was like, this sounds like my story, except for like I didn't fall off, but I also don't know how to make friends. So like my friend, she wasn't a reader, and I'm just like, I have nothing to talk to you about. Here, read these books. And she's like, I don't read, but thanks. And it's like, so that's what I do. I like literally have like read out, but please, I think you'd like this book. Please, I know you'd like this book. And no one wants to read them. So when people finally read them, I'm like, yes, something to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How about you, Marissa? Is your journey similar as well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was as big of a reader as a kid. Like, I definitely read. Grew up in a family of readers. Obviously, Jenna's my sister. She's the one that gave me all the books and said, "Here, read this."
Like I just said.
Yeah. But I think I also had a lot of, like, I was introverted, but I had a lot of other hobbies that I did too. I was kind of like the jack of all trades type thing, where like I did sports. For a while, I did theater. I did a lot of different things. So my time was split all the time, so I'd get fixated on something and then I'd move to something else. And that's kind of how I still am. Like, I'll get fixated on reading a lot and I'll get into like books for a good like month or two and then I find something else that I get fixated on. So I think mine just comes in waves. Is how mine goes.
It's funny because I'm just thinking back to it and I was like, yeah, I'm the type of person where I'm like, you have to read, Marissa, you have to read, to read. Like, so I think I like.
They put the pressure on me. They go, "What do you mean you're into video games right now? Go read."
Yeah, here's a book. Please go read. But yeah, my mom even like jokes about it. She's like, Jenna, when she went to kindergarten, like I think like a week into kindergarten, she always says like, I came home and she was like, how's school going? And I was like, I don't know how to read yet. And like, so it's awful. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. And so, yeah, I've been a reader since I literally could. But yeah, I force everyone to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of the same when I moved here to New Brunswick. We didn't know anybody, and people like kind of found out what I did as a job. And so the kind of connection point they would talk to me about books, and then I kind of just like would force books on them and be
Yeah.
like, oh, this is one of my favorites. You should check it out. And then it kind of turned into and evolved into multiple people on our street, like talking about books with me. And then we kind of snowballed from there and we started a book club. And so now, like, there's like a bunch of women on the street that all get together and we'll read books. And I'm just like, ha, I turned you all into readers.
I love it. It's like the only way I know how to be social.
Yeah, same.
You can make friends and talk about books. That's like my dream. As the only extrovert here.
I know.
That's what we say is Megan collects introverts so that she can have a friend group and then she makes them read her books.
Yeah.
As introverts, we need the extroverts to collect us, or
Yes.
else
Right.
we would never be social.
Yep.
Right.
That's how this whole podcast started.
But what if we could like record ourselves by talking about books? That was how it went. So speaking of book clubs and of course reading and collecting people, this is your first year hosting your book club on Fable. Have there been any standout reads for you?
Definitely. Actually, the Fable book club has been really good for me to like branch out and try different genres or different books that I probably wouldn't pick up. But also, it pushed me to pick up books that I wanted to read but kept putting off. And the first one was our first book club book, which was One Dark Window.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I kept putting that book off and off. And then when we started the book club, we like put out a poll and I put that one in there hoping that it would win because I needed the push to read it, and it did end up winning and I absolutely loved it. And then on the other hand, I do read historical fiction, but it's not like my go-to. And so then the second month we read The Frozen River, and it's not a book I would have picked up. Like, I have to hear about a historical fiction and hear like rave reviews in order to like pick it up. I had heard nothing about this book, but someone had like recommended it like to put in the poll, and I loved that book. Like, it was so good, and it was really surprising to me how much I enjoyed it, which was really nice because I probably wouldn't have picked it up. And then the other one that comes to mind is Legends and Lattes. I'm not typically one to like gravitate towards cozy fantasy, and so I was kind of like dreading when that one got picked because I was like, I don't think this is gonna be my vibe at all. And then loved it. It was so stinking cute. And I was like, I need more of this. So I like that the book club has like pushed me to try things I wouldn't naturally gravitate towards.
And I think it definitely did that for me as well, because I would have never, ever in my life picked up Frozen River, The God of the Woods. Well, I probably would have picked up God of the Woods because I genuinely thought it was a witchy forest book.
Yeah.
We joke about that. Megan's partner, Scott, has talked about witchy forest.
Oh my gosh.
And it's very much a historical fiction as well. And
we joked about, I was just telling someone about that because they were like, oh, I'm doing a spooky forest theme for my trunk or treat. And I was like, what is with the spooky forest? They're literally everywhere, even outside of books.
everywhere,
Sorry.
yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so I would never have picked up Frozen River, The God of the Woods. I probably would have gone to a Bridgerton book. Or what was the other one? Magic Hour? I would have never
Yeah.
picked up that one. So I'm glad that I read those, even though I didn't give them as high ratings as I normally would have. I'm still happy I read them because I feel like I've branched out this year so much compared to every other year. So I'm really grateful for the always fully booked book club.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
I think that's a good thing about book clubs in general, though, is you don't necessarily choose the book, and it forces you to read something outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, for sure.
Even with our podcast, when we have books that we all read together, I did Under the Whispering Door last year, and
Yeah.
you had said you probably would not have read that on your own, but
Right.
you read it and you liked it.
I did like it.
So,
Yeah.
and I think that's just something that we force each other to read books that we think the other one will like, but they're not going to just pick it up and do it.
And then you also had to mention to us in one of our convince me to read books, the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which I
Yeah.
know Megan also loves.
Love. So
gosh.
cute.
That one I just randomly, it was audiobook that I did, and I just randomly, I think it was on Spotify or something, it just popped up as a suggestion. I'm like, I have no idea what this is, so I'm just gonna put it on. And I loved it, and so I did a whole convince you to read for it, and I got them to read it.
We both ended up Megan read it, and she was like, okay, I read it. And I was like,
No,
oh
I
my
read it
gosh.
first.
Oh, yeah, you read it first. So you're like, oh my gosh, it was so cute. I was like, all right, I'm moving it up to the top of my list then. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun
I probably
episode.
wouldn't have picked that up if you hadn't told. I mean, I might have eventually, but it would have been years and years down the road.
I think you would have picked it up, it would have been on your TBR, and you'd be like, I really can't wait to read this, but would read every other book that you want to read
Right.
first.
Right.
But yeah, I'm glad that we got to do that. And I'm glad that you have the group to push me and yourself and everyone in the group to read a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really helpful for that.
Yeah, this month, we're doing Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, I think it was.
I think that's correct. I haven't started it yet.
I haven't started. It's not my fault. I'm waiting on Libby to deliver it to me, and it says available soon, but it's been like that for 2 weeks now, so we'll see. But
It'll come.
I am excited for that one because it's a thriller book, and I'm kind of excited for something a little darker for Halloween vibes. And then November, we haven't put the poll up yet, but I'm excited to see what the rest of the year brings. And I think we decided December you're going to go for cozy, right?
Yeah, something just kind of. Everyone's so busy in December.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense to just do something
I'm going to tell you, Love Light Farms. If you have not read Love Light Farm,
I have read it and I loved it.
oh my gosh, it's the perfect December read.
It is for sure.
It's perfect.
Does she come out with another one every year? Could there be one ready for this December, or is it done?
No, so even the Love Light Farms ones don't necessarily all take place in December. So the whole series,
I see, okay.
it kind of spreads to the year, which was perfect for me because I read the December one and then I read the next one immediately, and then I had to wait for a while on Libby for the next one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be perfect though. I think she actually does. She might actually have another December one coming out soon. Looks like Ghosts of Christmas.
Oh, she does. Yeah. Oh, I forget what it's called, but I think it comes out either this month or next month.
Yeah,
It's on my list.
yeah, it's on mine too.
I'll read anything that she writes.
Her first time caller right now. I was telling them, I was like, I picked it up yesterday and I was like, I'll just read a little bit, and I stayed up way too late reading it. I was like, it's too easy. And
I loved that book. I think it's my second favorite book of the year.
oh my gosh,
It was
I
so
love it.
cute.
I love all of them. I literally tell people about them all the time. Do you find that you when you're pulling inspiration for your designs, is it something that you're currently reading that inspires, or where do you pull your inspiration from?
Sometimes it can be what I'm reading. Sometimes it's something that just like pops into my head like randomly. Sometimes it's like a discussion that like I'm having with something and it will like trigger an idea and then I'll kind of like flesh it out from there. Sometimes it's like music. If I like hear a certain lyric, it will pull my brain in a weird way and I'll think of something. Other times it's just like most times it's just random, to be honest. Like it's just something will pop into my head and I'm like I should try and see if I can do something with that. And then it kind of just goes from there. But if I'm feeling creatively stuck, there's certain times where like I'll have to go on like a hike or like do something like to get myself out of my head and like I'll like blast music and go on the treadmill or like just something to like shut off my thinking and then come back to it and it usually will go from there.
That's a good way to reset. Just completely stop thinking about it and then get back to it.
Yeah, sometimes I have to do that.
I find that like every time I get inspired to do something, it's right when I'm about to fall asleep.
Oh,
Oh my god.
So yes,
Oh, I have like a notes app for that's just like full of like just random. I'll wake up at 3 in the morning thinking of something and I'll like open my phone and write it down so I can remember it when I. And then
Yeah,
most of
see-
the time they're just like gibberish and I like the next day I'm like, what was I doing?
That's what I think. I'm like super creative when I'm about to fall asleep, and if I do
Yes.
end up writing it down and I wake up, I'm all like, what was I thinking? Like, this is not as creative as I thought.
Yeah.
yeah. I've had that before where I wake up and I'm like, oh, I have to tell my friend about my dream. And I'll like jot down what the dream was about. And then I wake up like later after I've had another dream that resets the other one. And I'm just like, what? A sandstorm in like Texas? I don't know what I was dreaming about. But yeah.
Mine isn't necessarily a dream, but like sometimes when I'm like stressed out or something, I try to tell myself a story.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a bedtime story to fall
Yeah.
asleep, and that's where it comes from. Like, that was a really good story, and I fall asleep. Probably wasn't.
Yep. So speaking of designs, is there a book or series that you could make an entire line of products for? What would it be? And like this would be licensing notwithstanding.
Okay. Anything V.E. Schwab.
Oh, yep.
Her books are just the way that she writes is so beautiful. I feel like it would translate so well into like some kind of art or jewelry if I was into that cuz I think her stuff would be really cool as jewelry. But I know it's like super popular, but because I'm like super into it, Fourth Wing would be a fun one to make stuff for. Um I also think like some of the like lesser known books, like something like Legends and Lattes, where there's like kind of more of a loyal cult following than like the masses, would kind of be fun to like play around with.
Yeah.
I would love a Legends and Latte like hand thrown mug or
Yes,
something.
exactly. Yes.
That would be so cute. Like
Yeah.
a what are the? It's there's not
Those,
like a
like,
mug. It's what are those?
Play the
Yeah,
yeah.
they have. Ryan has one. He got one for D&D one year.
Oh,
A Stein?
Like a Stein, but like I don't know.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe a Stein. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, something like that would be so fun. Hey, pottery people out there,
Yes. Make it. I will buy it.
make it
There
and we
you
will
go.
buy it. Yes. Speaking of V.E. Schwab, though, one of our first Owl Crate books was her young adult series. What was it? This Savage Song.
Oh yeah.
And that was like one that I think, did you read it too, Marissa?
Yeah.
Yeah, the three of us read it, and that was like our first introduction to V.E. Schwab.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went into A Dark Shade of Magic, of course, which
Love
was an
that
amazing
series.
series. And I tried to get our friend Haley to read them, and she's just like, it feels very 2016. And I'm just like, so? That was a good year. You can enjoy it. And then obviously Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is just breathtaking. Did you read?
Yeah.
Yes, you
yeah.
did.
I actually recommended that to my friend this weekend too. I was like, pick up Addie LaRue. You have
Pick
to
up
read
Addie LaRue, yeah. And then I haven't read her newest one in the Darker Shade of Magic series yet.
I haven't either.
I know Marissa would really like. Is it Vengeful? What was that one? Do you remember? Victor?
Vicious.
Vicious. That's the one. Yeah.
I think
you would
that
like.
one pops up a lot on my like recommended, but
Oh.
I haven't picked it up.
Oh.
Is it gay? Is that why? Marissa always gets the ones that are gay every single time.
The first one doesn't feel gay. I don't know if it gets gay because she did come out with a sequel, but it's like he's the bad guy. So
Oh, okay.
that's why I was
so
like,
it's a bad guy story.
it's a bad
Yeah,
guy
I like
story.
bad guy
Yeah.
He
stories.
does like those.
So, all right, next question.
All right. What are some unexpected bestsellers that you've had in your shop?
Outside the planner, because that's gonna be an automatic
Yeah.
Yeah.
guarantee.
I don't know if I would say I have any unexpected bestsellers. I do have products that were unexpected flops, for sure.
Oh.
Things that I thought would go and just like for whatever reason didn't. As far as bestsellers, like sometimes certain designs will like surprise me, like with a vinyl sticker. I'll know it will be like popular, but not as popular as it is.
Yeah.
And so I did this vinyl sticker. It was just like a quick little doodle of a moon with some dragons and clouds. And I drew it just because I was like, I think at the time I was reading Onyx Storm. And I was just like doodling as I was listening to it. And I was like, oh, this would be a really cute vinyl sticker. But it was a vinyl sticker and like it like immediately sold out. And I was like, oh, people like dragons. And then I turned it into like a foam grip and people sold it out and we had to reorder it. Meanwhile, we have like other vinyl stickers and phone grips that will stay in the shop for like months at a time. But for whatever reason, that one design, like people absolutely loved it. So like that one was surprising in just how much it sold. But I knew people would like it, but just not as much as they did.
Yeah.
You also have a Kindle case with a dragon on it that I remember people being like, when is it coming back? When is it
Yes.
coming back? Because I need it. So I
Yes.
feel like it's dragon season. So
It
any
is,
for
yeah.
sure.
This has been the
dragons?
year for dragons for sure.
Going back to your planner, has so obviously you've talked about it's evolved a lot over the years. Do you have any spreads that you're most proud of, or that you're like either a new spread that you're excited to use, or one that over the years you're just like, yeah, that's the one that was so good?
I really love the reading challenges
Oh
in the
yeah,
planner.
definitely.
And I really like how those have evolved over time. Like I don't even remember if we had reading. I think I had one reading challenge in my very first, and it was the fully booked one, which is like our own challenge. Like it's just prompts we come up with every year. And I just kind of love that that's stayed true in the planner
Yeah.
for all of the years we've done it, even though we've like changed how many prompts and we've changed what the layout looks like. The fact that we have like a fully booked exclusive to us reading challenge, it's just so fun to think like that's something we came up with, and coming up with all the prompts is always really fun. And then although it can be really challenging because we try and switch it up every year, and coming up with 32 unique prompts after like 9 years is
Yeah.
really hard to do. So that can be like, it's fun, but also like it's a nice challenge for me. But we do try and keep some somewhat similarities. Like we always try and include something of like authors of minority, some
Yeah.
kind of phrasing in there. And then we always trying to do something with the LGBTQ plus community as well. Like we always have one prompt of something of that just because
Yeah.
that's important to us, and we think it's important to read diversely, so we want that in the challenge. So that's pretty consistent even if like the prompt itself changes. And then I would say definitely like the artwork in the planner. When I look back at like my very first planner artwork and what I look at the artwork for now, it just makes me really proud of like how far it has come, because it's
Yeah.
come a long way.
Yeah.
And I think it's just fun to like come up with new ideas every year for that. And again, it's a big challenge for me because I do try and do different things, and coming up with 12 unique artwork for every single year. And like there's only so many things you can draw with books before it gets like repetitive. So it's a lot to come up with, but I do like the challenge of it. So those are always my favorite.
And that's one thing I know a lot of people look forward to when you release your video, your like flip through video every year,
Yeah.
is the monthly art that is offered in them.
Mm-hmm.
And we were saying in our Discord channel for the planner that like it's so hard to choose one that's coming out for next year. It's so hard to choose which monthly art that we like the best because they're all just so breathtaking.
Yeah.
But
I
I
always-
did have to go. My favorite would probably be June, only because it was rainbows, and I just love rainbows.
I always try and
so-
do a rainbow on June. Just even if it's like a subtle nod to a rainbow, there's always been some kind of rainbow in June.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's always fun to see people's reaction, like which ones they pick as their favorite. Because I always have my own favorites, and then it's always just like so broad.
I like because you were talking about the challenges, because Megan will talk about the challenges she
Oh,
has to do, and so it comes to like, because she has a very niche of what she reads, and she'll be like, I have to read a poetry book. And so, do you have any poetry verse? It's like, I have to read a nonfiction. What's a nonfiction that would be good? So I gotta give her recommendations to that.
Yeah. My entire life is revolved around the planner, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, constantly thinking, okay, got to put this in my planner. Oh, we have D&D. Okay, it's in my planner. Don't worry. And then every time I'm reading, I'm like, don't worry, guys. This covers the one that we're reading for our group. It
Yeah.
covers some of the challenges in the planner. It goes through like 3 different challenges, so we're fine. But yeah.
How do you decide like this is the artwork I want to put on the cover versus just this is artwork that I want to use in like a sticker or something?
It's honestly quite challenging. The covers I stress about the most every single year because I feel like I don't know if it's self-imposed pressure or I think I kind of feed off the pressure of my audience and that like they care so much about the covers.
Yeah.
And so I always put like so much I'm like I have to make it better than last year, but I'm still in like cuz I still use my planner every day. I'm like I'm still in this year. I'm not ready to move on, but I have to think about this like 3 months ago. So I'm like thinking about this in May and June and I'm like the year isn't even half over. How am I supposed to think about next year? And so usually the cover is the last thing that I do in the planner because I need to get all of the like creative juices kind of flowing and do all the artwork. And then I kind of have a sense of where I want to go. And I'm kind of like at a point. But this year for the cover, I thought I was going to go with a different cover for. We always do 2 different covers. So we do like a more colorful, lighter version. And then we do something that's like darker just so that people have options. And for the lighter cover, I was convinced I was going to do a different cover. And then my partner liked the one that we ended up picking more. And so I like couldn't decide. So I put a poll up on my Instagram and was just like, all right, like I can't choose. You guys choose. What one do you want to see? Which I never do. I like never show the covers beforehand. But I just really couldn't decide. And I did the poll and it ended up being 50-50.
Yeah.
And I was like, you've got to be joking. Like, even you guys can't decide. So then I had to go by just whatever one had the most votes, like individually. But it was like the most torn I've been about a cover. But on the flip side, with the darker cover, which has like a sword and books on it, it's more of like fantasy vibe. I kind of knew all along that would look like that. Not I didn't know exactly like the background and everything, but I knew I kind of wanted to lean more that way and I just had it in my head and never even entertained anything else cuz I was like, no, I think this is what I want to do. So sometimes it comes really easy. Sometimes I stew over it for weeks and rant about it for way too long. My partner's just like, can we please stop talking about the covers?
I think it's really cool that you have that like communication with your customers and stuff like that. Like you have a very open communication with them and trying to like figure out what they like and mix it with what you are inspired to do.
Yeah,
So that was really cool that you could put that up to just be like, you know what is going to sell? Let's actually talk to the market.
yeah,
versus
that's always
just
been
guessing.
super important to me. is having that open communication. I see so many other businesses make decisions and then they don't explain them or talk about why, and then their customers are like kind of left in the dark. And I never wanted to do that because it's so easy to communicate. Like, it's really not that hard to just explain yourself. And I also think it helps people feel that personal connection. And then they feel it like it matters to me. It wasn't just a decision made around money. It wasn't just something that I thought would be better. If I can
Yeah.
explain myself and where I'm coming from and why I do what I do, people care. And
Yeah.
that helps like so much. And I also just think especially when it's like a really tough decision, there's always going to be people that push back and people that think the worst of me. That has happened so many times. So with every decision I've like agonized over, I have people who will accuse me of the worst. But then I also have people that are in my corner because they, over the years, have learned my character because of how much I try and include them in the process. And so I try and like cling to that side because it's more positive. And also, I've made some really great connections by just being open. And I don't want to just be some like mindless business on the internet. I want people to care about what we're doing and like feel like they're a part of something, because that's what the reading community is supposed to be about, is finding a safe space of like-minded individuals that you can like talk to and like rant to about your favorite book. And I just like want to make that extend into my business as well.
That's awesome.
Definitely. And I think like one of the things that I think was such a good step in the right direction is not only making the planner so versatile for everybody, but continually offering different options for people to include more people who will be like, yes, this is actually what works for me. So like you have the vertical spread, you have the horizontal spread, and now you have the dashboard layout. So you have so many options in doing undated for people like Jenna who, you know, will do it, but just slowly over time when, you know, life isn't so hectic and all over the place. And then for people like me who I just need like structure and like all of these specific things. So I think that's just like a good sign of someone who actually listens to their customers and, like you said, the market, like knowing the, I don't want to say trends, but like knowing what is like interesting at the moment.
So I know Megan almost always likes the lighter and colorful planner covers, and I almost always end up with the dark colors. Do you find that you end up preferring one to the other when you pick your choice?
I usually it's the dark one that I'm more drawn to. And there's been like the odd time I have picked the colorful one. I think it was last year. I used it was like a really floral, bright, undated planner. And it was like, I think it was the first year we offered an undated planner. And I don't know why, I just felt like super drawn to this floral one. It's totally not my style typically, but for whatever reason it like really spoke to me. But any other time I think I'm always on the like darker side. It's probably the fantasy addict in me.
And I loved that cover so much that I bought 2 planners just so I could take the cover off of one of them
I remember you doing that. Yeah.
and put it on my dated planner, and then that's the one I gave to Jenna.
That's how I got the first undated. I was like, Megan's like, look, I bought an undated planner because I wanted the cover, but I don't want the undated planner. Do you want it? And I was like, yes, I will take that. And that's why I was like, oh, undated works for me. I can do undated.
And what worked, because I kept the back cover, so the elastic color was the color of the flowers. So it also like kind of matched still. So I was just like, it's perfect. It's meant to be.
Yeah, I think even this year when you sent me the sneak peek, she's like, oh my gosh, Jenna, I can't make a decision. And I was like, the dark one.
Immediately.
Like the dark one right away.
I don't even think she looked at the light one. She was just like, ooh, the dragon, the sword.
When I did the cover reveal this year, I was the same. I was like, oh, everyone's gonna want the dark one because it's clearly the better one.
Right.
And
Really?
I was so surprised by how many people loved the lighter option. That like some people were like, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna like switch from the darker one and get the, and I'm like, what? Clearly it has a dragon on it. Like, what else could you want?
But also, someone put it really nicely, and I loved this comment so much. They were just like, I'm at the time in my life where I want my life to be cozy and like calm for
Yes.
2026, especially with everything going on in the world right now. I need just like the cozy calm, and I'm manifesting that for my life. And then we're just like, okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that changed my mind a little bit. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Like,
Yeah.
I like that mindset a lot, but still give me the dragon.
Yeah, but also the dragon.
So, Megan, what cover are you going to go for?
Jeez.
Well, I'm just not sure. No, obviously the dragon. But I think I'm going to do Undated this year. I think I'm going to go back to the
Did you enjoy
Undated.
the dashboard a lot more?
I did, and also, like, just for, like, transparency, it's a better business decision
Okay, yeah.
because when I show my planner throughout the year, then it's a planner they can still get. It's not,
Oh, that's
I,
smart,
like,
yeah.
yeah, and I don't mind between the vertical and the dashboard. I like both, like, pretty much
Yeah.
equally. There's benefits to either of them, and this year with the Undated having the 2-page calendar, like, that was a big change that I was like, that's what was missing from the dashboard for me as well. Like, I had everyone else tell me that. And then when I made the switch this year, I was like, oh yeah, I can get behind this. So I'm actually really excited to do the Undated anyways.
That's very cool. I feel like in the Facebook group, when people show their spreads, that's very underrepresented because I feel like a lot of people use it more as like a functional
Yeah.
instead of like reading style. So I think showing what can be done with it is going to be really good. I mean, you
Yeah.
did that last year, but yeah.
Yeah, it's always anytime whatever planner I am showcasing is the one that people kind of want. And I noticed it a lot this year when I was showing my current planner in videos. They would go to my shop and they'd be like, I can't find that one. It's not there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's now I'm just like, okay, so like when I'm making these videos in May or June showing my planner, I need to be able to show a product that they can still get because they either don't want to wait or they're not necessarily making the connection that it's the same thing but just a different cover, which was another reason why this year we kept the same covers just to avoid any kind of confusion. And so now it's just those are the covers. Here's your options. Let's make it easy for everyone.
Yeah, I actually like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was like, look at all the options, which was cool, but I always wanted to go back to the same one. So it was like, if I liked one, it was like, oh, but I want Undated or I want this. It does make it easier to be like, I like this cover and I can get it Undated or whatever.
Yeah, that's
like
what we kept hearing too was people wanted a cover but they didn't want the layout that the cover came in. And so it just made it easier to just be like, I used to think that people would shop based on what layout they wanted, like what would be most functional, because that's the way I operate. I'm a very like logical, functional first
Yeah.
kind of person. But I have learned that most people aren't like that. They want the pretty cover. They want
Yep.
the cover. They don't care what the layout is as much. They just want a pretty cover. And so now I'm just like, okay, so less choices, but it means they get to like less options, but they get to make the choice based on the cover, which is what they want.
Yeah.
And they aren't necessarily, if they want an Undated, they don't have to get a cover that they don't necessarily want as much. So now people can choose based on the cover, which is I think better overall.
Yeah.
Or they just buy two.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I do think that these planners make great gifts. So,
They do. Yeah, we often have people buying them for gifts.
all right, for our final question for you, Megan, do you have any upcoming products or sneak peeks you can tell us about?
This year, normally I would have like more to sneak peek, but this year has been an interesting business year. So we've kind of had to like learn as we go and make some changes. So I don't have like as much on the pipeline because after the planners, we actually plan on taking a wee little break and taking a breather to catch our breath because this year has been
Deserve it.
Yeah.
treacherous. But my partner has I don't know if anyone would know, but we like recently got into making like 3D prints for our business and like things that you can use on your shelf and stuff like that. So we've been working away on a bunch of like new designs for that, and we just finished wrapping up a design that it's like it's basically like like a fantasy looking window that you would put on your shelf, and it has like a transparent colored, it looks like glass but it's not, in it. And that has like sparked this whole thing of doing these like stained glass looking shelf decor
Oh my gosh.
ideas, and we're like super pumped about it. Like we're talking like dragons and books and flowers and like a whole bunch of like cool little things that will go on your shelf that look like stained glass, but also like a window almost. So
Oh my
really
gosh, that's
excited
so
about
beautiful.
those.
And is
And
that
then
one that has a light in the back, or do you have to bring your own light and just like put it?
you would put your own light. We
Okay,
were going to
yeah.
originally sell them with like LED tea lights, but then we figured that like some people A might not want a light behind it, and B some people like to use like, if you wanted to use like string lights, that would also look really cool behind it. So we were like, let's just not limit people for how they want to use it, because oftentimes people will come up with really creative solutions that we don't think of. So if we just sell the product on its own, people can like choose how they want to display it. And then besides that, we're also coming up with you've probably seen them around. They're like a reading tracker that you can put on your shelf. And sometimes they have like dice or like little plates with numbers on them that keep track of how many books you've read that year.
Oh, that's so
That's
cool.
so
So we're in the process right now of designing like our version of that, and it's gonna be really cute.
I'm so excited.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. I know my package with my 3D printed TBRs and currently reading stand is coming tomorrow.
Oh, it's so exciting.
It is. It's coming tomorrow, and I'm so freaking excited. I mean, if it wanted to show up today, I'd also be happy. But yeah, I'm especially excited for the currently reading stand because I plan
love
for
that thing.
especially our Bookstagram to like constantly post pictures of what we're reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're also gonna come up with like the plates are removable on the stand. So we want to come up with like different ones that you can like switch out the plate that will say something different, which I think will be really fun.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Ooh. Like a new release or just
Yeah,
released or
exactly.
happy book birthday or something like that. Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun.
Yeah. And then
I'd do it.
once we open it up to like, we've been talking about opening it up to like more custom orders, because sometimes people want something really specific, and I can never do it because I am like more focused on like mass producing because it's more business minded. But with
Yeah.
3D printer, it's not that way. It's more like individual. And so we can open it up to custom. And so after the planners, we plan on doing like a whole like kind of launch of like, you can request different colors, you can request different signs, like, and I think that will be really fun to see what people come up with.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds really fun, especially because you can have like 5 different custom orders going at the same time on a plate.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, that's fancy. Oh, man. Oh, I'm so excited for you. That's going to be so much fun. But you definitely deserve a break because we can definitely get political here. We usually don't, but we can. It sucks being a small business outside of America right now.
It does, yeah.
Especially,
I mean, it sucks being a small business in America as well. So
Yeah.
that's, yeah, I'm not surprised.
I think it just
about that,
sucks
too.
being a small business right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
There it is. So, all right. So before we say goodbye, we're going to talk about what we're currently reading. So let's do Marissa first. Marissa, what are you currently reading?
I am doing homework for NetGalleys. I am currently reading Hell's Heart by Alexis Hall, which I talked about a little bit earlier. I took a break from it for a minute, but it is the like space lesbian Moby Dick book.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. It's the retelling of Moby Dick, but in space, and it's sapphic.
Yeah.
So.
Guess what? There's a prompt in the Always Fully Booked planner this year about that, a sapphic book.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Mine's already
Well,
filled.
I'm sure mine's already filled too at this point.
I mean, even with The Isle in the Silver Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. About half the books I've read this year.
All right, Megan, what are you currently reading?
I am currently reading Spark of the Everflame.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I literally was just saying, I need to move this up on my list. I keep hearing about it recently.
Yeah, I'm not very far into it because I haven't been in a great headspace for reading lately, but I'm hoping to get back into it this week and finish it before the planners show up.
Who's the author of that one?
Penn Cole.
Okay, yeah. All right, and Jenna, what are you reading?
I talked about it a little bit earlier. I'm reading First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. We got the galley for And Now Back to You, which is her second in the Heartstrings books.
I'm so jealous. I'm so excited for that book.
I will be like, look, you have to read it. I can't wait because once you read it, we'll talk. I literally forgot how much I love her. I picked it up yesterday. I started it yesterday, and I was telling Megan and Marissa, I was like, I am now 75% of the way through. There is no good explanation for how I got 75% of the way through when I have a toddler full time, but it's fine. But yeah, like the end of the night, Jelani's like, do you want me to take him? And I was like, yes, I need to read. And I can't put it down. I love her books. I love them so much. Yeah. Megan, what about you?
I'm reading Empire of the Damned, which is the second one to Empire of the Vampire, and I was talking about how we got the arc of the third one, and I was like, oh, I'll just for fun, I'll request an arc for the third one because it comes out in November, and then we got it, and I was just like, oh God, no. Oh God. There needs to be like a window where they say like, oh, the book comes out November 4th. You have less than a month. We'll like not give it to you. Because now here I am scrambling to reread the first one and then now in the second one because they're 800-page books. I don't know. I genuinely do not know how you did Zodiac Academy so fast because I'm over here scrambling because I'm reading the ebook and then listening to the audiobook and every other moment of my life. I don't know how you do it.
Because it wasn't homework.
Yeah.
As
That's the
soon as
hard
it's
part.
not homework, I was like, so I started Zodiac Academy. It was one of the ones that I kept hearing about. And I'm glad that I got the advice before I got into it that it's just fun. It's a fun read. It's not anything to be taken seriously. So I was able to like push past a lot of the things that would usually irritate me about books. And all of a sudden, like a month and a half in, I'm like, yeah, I'm on book 9. And I'm like, these books are probably small. And then I saw them and I was like, these books are not small. How did I get to book 9 in like a month and a half?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me.
So yeah, I'm on book 2, hoping to get to book 3 before it goes out on
You got
November
it.
4th. Yeah, we got it. I got a couple weeks from now. Where can they find you, Megan? What are your socials?
You can find me on Instagram at Little Inklings Design. And you can find me on TikTok at Little Inklings. And my website, which is littleinklings.ca.
We also have our Facebook group, always fully booked. We have a Discord, which I think they can find through the Facebook.
Yep.
And then you also have Fable if anyone wants to join the book club as well. Yeah. That's that as well.
There you go.
More people, more friends.
Yay.
My favorite.
Here's the extrovert.
All right, so this quote is from Charles W. Eliot, and it is, "Books are the quietest and most constant of friends. They are the most accessible and wisest of counselors and the most patient of teachers." All
There you
right.
go.
So with that, thank you so much for joining us, Megan. I'm so
Yes.
happy that we got
Yes.
to have you on today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you around, and yeah, that's it. See you
Until
guys
next
next time.
time.
Yeah, till next time.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for having me.